بعدك عن المشاوير، يا هم العمر يا دمع الزهر يا مواسم العصافير، ما أوسع الغابي وسع الغابي قلبي، يا مصور عبابي ومصور بقلبي، شايف البحر شو كبير كبر البحر بحبك، شايف السما شو بعيد بعد السما بحبك، كبر البحر وبعد السما بحبك يا حبيبي يا حبيبي يا حبيبي نطرتك سنة ويا طول السنة واسأل شجر الجوز، اشوفك بالصحو جاي من الصحو وضايع بورق اللوز، نطرتك سنة سنة يا طول السنة واسأل شجر الجوز، اشوفك بالصحو جاي من الصحو وضايع بورق اللوز، ما أصغر دمعة أنا دمعة بدربك، بدي انكر شمعة وتخليني حبك، وشايف البحر شو كبير كبر البحر بحبك، شايف السما شو بعيد بعد السما بحبك، كبر البحر وبعد.
They say life is all about making choices. Well, I didn't choose metastatic breast cancer. Not the exact type. Not the specific mutation. But I did pick hope. And also clarity. By knowing I have a treatment that goes right at it.
Discover PICRAY, the first and only treatment that specifically targets PIK3CA mutations and HR-positive HER2 negative.
حبك يا حبيبي يا حبيبي يا حبيبي يا حبيبي. سلم لي عليه قول له إني بسلم عليه بوس لي عينيه قول له إني ببوس عينيه انت يلي بتفهم عليه سلم لي عليه سلم لي عليه قول له اني بسلم عليه بوس لي عينيه قول له اني ببوس عينيه انت يلي بتفهم عليه سلم لي عليه سلم عيونه مش فجأة بينكسروا ضحكات عيونه ثابتين ما بينقصوا عيونه مش فجأة بينكسروا ضحكات عيونه ثابتين ما بينقصوا مدري شبوه وبعرف شبوه مطبوع بذاكرته ما تبحثوا عم تبحثوا ما تبحثوا ما تبحثوا ما تبحثوا سلم لي عليه قول له اني بسلم عليه بوس لي عينيه.
Okay, good evening, Masa al Khair. I want to welcome everybody to this virtual fundraiser for the PCRF San Francisco Bay Area chapter. It's always an honor to be with you, whether in person or virtually. I've really come to look forward to this event that we do on an annual basis. This is a community powered by such committed volunteers and supporters who really have such a sustained track record of giving and supporting the important work of the organization. And so obviously this is a very different kind of year for us, but yet, you know, we don't let a pandemic get in the way of important work. In fact, it only creates more urgency and a greater need for us to step up and commit at this time. In this evening, we will have a kind of condensed program. That's the benefit of doing things online. So we will be very efficient, but at the same time, we will explain and make sure that you have the information you need about a very important project that we all want to join together to commit and see through and really make sure that this project is supported in the way that it needs to be. So we'll share some information there, and we'll learn more as we go. But to kick us off, I am very excited to have one of our own from this community, a young lady now, no longer a young girl, a young lady, Miss Naya Saleh, who will begin by doing a performance of a song that, of course, is very dear to all of our hearts. So Naya, are you ready to share the beauty of your voice with all of us who are joined here now?
Yes, I am. I'm honored to be here, and I'm very honored to be singing the Palestinian national anthem. موطني موطني الجلال والجمال والثناء والبهاء في رباك في رباك والحياة والنجاة والهناء والرجاء في هواك في هواك هل أراك سالما منعما وغانما مكرما سالما منعما وغانما مكرما هل أراك في علاك تبلغ السمك تبلغ السمك موطني 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 الشباب لن يكل همه أن يستقل أو يبيت أو يبيت نستقي من الردى ولن نكون للعدى كالعبيد كالعبيد لا نريد لا نريد ذلنا المؤبد وعيشنا المنكدا ذلنا المؤبد وعيشنا المنكدا لا نريد بل نعيد مجدنا التليد مجدنا التليد موطني 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 الحسام واليرع الكلام والنزاع رمزنا رمزنا مجدنا وحدنا وواجب من الوفا يهزنا يهزنا عزنا عزنا غاية تشرف راية ترفرف غاية تشرف راية ترفرف يا هنا في علا قاهرا عداك قاهرا عداك موطني 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 موطني.
Bravo. Thank you so much, Miss Naya. Such a lovely voice, such a great way to start this evening. We really appreciate your presence here, and you set the right tone for this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we will be, this is a fundraiser, and so the PCRF team has made it, quite straightforward to give, and you can give throughout this event, over the next 30 minutes or so. And so there is a link that is dropped in the chat window. Just click on that link. It will take you to the website. I'll be repeating a phone number for you to call or to text. Preferred method is to text, and you can just pledge the amount and worry about the donation later, and we can keep a tally as we go. So that phone number is 1-330-678-2645. That's 330-678-2645. So if you're watching on Facebook Live and the chat window is not accessible to you, you have a way to give as well. And what I would like to do now is to introduce the new leader of the local San Francisco Bay Area chapter, Firas Khatib, who will share a little bit about the work of the local chapter, and will let us know what the chapter has been up to and what the plans are for the future. Firas.
Thank you, Nassim, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Naya, as well. That was a very beautiful performance. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So I wanted to take a little bit of time to keep you up to date with the San Francisco Bay Area chapter, talking about our team and some of the things that your support helps us do. So first and foremost, here's our team. Without them and their hard work, none of this would be possible. They a lot of our volunteers have been with the chapter too now for 5+ years, and they help throw a lot of the events and just coordinate with the organization. So some of the things that we do is we host community events. We have an annual event during Ramadan. We have our benefit gala that's usually around this time of the year, but unfortunately we can't get together this year. We have our holiday campaign that we usually actually coordinate with a lot of the other chapters all around the world. And we've hosted also a tech ed before where we've raised money for sending computers over to Gaza so we can help teach kids computer literacy and some software engineering. We also do medical cases where we have children come grab some, come get care here because they're not able to in Palestine. We have host families that graciously help out, and they don't just take them to their appointments, but they really treat them like family. They show them, you know, the Bay Area, and they, you know, really make sure that they feel welcome. And that's the list of kind of medical cases that we've had over the years here in San Francisco. Last but not least, we have you know, a number of projects that over the years you guys have helped us actually very much with your support. We've opened pediatric cancer departments in Gaza and in Beit Jala. We have a pediatric cardiology department in Ramallah. And next, we're going to share a video that's going to detail a little bit more about what the San Francisco chapter has done over the years, and also go into detail of the project that we're sponsoring this year for Safad Hospital. So just switch over there.
طبعا مستشفى صفد في شمال لبنان تخدم اللاجئين الفلسطينيين في مخيمات الشمال بالإضافة إلى الجوار اللبناني. أنشئت المستشفى سنة 1984. بهذاك الوقت كانت كافية أن تخدم أبناء شعبنا في المنطقة. بعد نزوح إخواننا السوريين وإخواننا الفلسطينيين السوريين بعد أزمة سوريا، أصبح غير قادر المستشفى أنه استيعاب هذا العدد الهائل من المرضى والمراجعين. من هون ظهرت فكرة بناء مستشفى صفد الجديد. هذا المستشفى طبعا مستشفى حيكون نموذجي في كل الأقسام العلاجية والتشخيصية، وحيكون في غسيل الكلى، هذا قسم جديد حيكون فيه، بالإضافة لقسم الأطفال الخدج وحديثي الولادة. هاي من الأقسام المميزة اللي حتكون بالإضافة للأقسام العادية الموجودة بكل المستشفيات. نتمنى من الجهات الداعمة إنه تأمننا التجهيزات اللازمة حتى نستطيع أن نوفر الخدمات الطبية اللازمة لأهلنا في الشمال والجوار.
So as we can see, this is a very significant undertaking. We have to equip this hospital. And we have an opportunity tonight to play a critical role in doing our part. And our goal tonight is to raise $50,000 towards equipping this hospital. And we're going to have a chance to learn a little bit more about the need. And to do that, I want to invite somebody who needs no introduction, the leader of the PCRF and founder of the PCRF, Steve Sosby. And Steve, of course, represents the great work of such a committed set of staff and volunteers in Palestine and supporters around the world. And it goes without saying that this organization steps up to meet the needs wherever they exist for Palestinians in Lebanon. But as you saw in the video, not just Palestinians. This organization supports people in need, refugees, wherever they are. And those are the values that this organization is built upon. So with that, Steve, welcome, and can you please share a little bit more about this important project?
Yeah, thank you, Brother Nassim, and thank you for your kind introduction. Thank you, Naya, for your beautiful rendition of the Palestinian national anthem. It always gives me a sense of deep pride to hear that, and the way you sang it so beautifully just further deepen that sense of pride. Now more than ever, as we face, I would say, you always feel as Palestinians, and as somebody who considers myself in some way an honorary Palestinian, that every year we get together and have these meetings, and we always say, well, it can't get worse. The Palestinian struggle can't become more complicated and more difficult and more challenging, but it is every year. And I think that only makes, as Nassim mentioned, our determination and our dedication to supporting the Palestinians wherever they are even greater and should be even stronger. And thank you all from the San Francisco chapter. You guys have been on the forefront of supporting the PCRF for many, many years, and some of the accomplishments which for us shared with us you can visit on the ground in Palestine. The cancer department in Beit Jala Hospital, named after my first wife, Huda Al-Masri, God rest her soul, has been functioning for 7 years now, more than 7 years, and has been providing hundreds of kids with cancer free treatment they otherwise couldn't get. In February of 2019, we opened Gaza's first pediatric cancer department, 4 times bigger than the one we opened in Bethlehem. And that not only is providing hundreds of kids free care, but it's given a sense of hope to the people in the besieged Gaza Strip, that they're not forgotten, that the lives of their children matter. And that's one of the big struggles that we face in supporting the Palestinians and strengthening the Palestinian resolve to get through this very challenging time, is to give them a sense of hope. And the best way we can do that is to help save their lives and build up institutions like hospitals. And so thank you all in the San Francisco community who have always been very generous and very supportive, and particularly our volunteers in our chapter there. God bless you all. Nowhere is the Palestinian struggle more complicated and more difficult than in Lebanon. We all know what's been happening there in the last year or so, the kind of collapse of the government, the economic crisis that's followed. We saw the terrible explosion there a couple of months ago, and the COVID crisis, which has been affecting all of the world, of course, and I hope all of you are safe during this very difficult time. in Lebanon and in Palestine and the West Bank, PCRF has been on the forefront of providing urgent humanitarian relief to people who are needing of medicine, of food, of infection control materials. We're supporting the ministries of health by providing equipment and testing kits and so on. But in Lebanon, the need is even greater because there isn't a ministry of health like the Palestinians in the West Bank have. They don't have, or in Gaza even, they don't have the resources and the support that Palestinians under occupation, as limited as those resources are, still enable a certain semblance of a security blanket when it comes to basic healthcare services. In Lebanon, the hundreds of thousands of Palestinian refugees live as stateless, I don't want to say citizens, but as refugees in a country where they've resided for generations since 1948, since the Nakba. And these Palestinians have carried the flag of Palestine in their hearts and in their camps there, waiting for their right to return, waiting for justice for having their homes and lands taken from them so long ago. And our goal is to help continue to support the communities there through our humanitarian work. One of the areas, and we do lots of work in Lebanon and have for decades. I remember going there over 2 decades ago and starting our programs in the field there and seeing how desperate and difficult the Palestinian circumstances were in Lebanon. They are in many cases even worse than they are under occupation. So this year we're doing a very important project. We keep taking on bigger and bigger projects in PCRF, and we do that because of the support of our chapters and people like yourselves who make that possible. When we first built our cancer department in Bethlehem 7 years ago, I never imagined it would enable us to keep growing and taking on these bigger and bigger projects, which we've been able to do. And that gives us a sense that our organization can accomplish more. And what we're doing now in the Badawi refugee camp, you saw some of that in the video, is trying to equip Safad Hospital there so it opens and is able to start treating patients in the northern part, because Palestinians in the northern part of Lebanon don't have access to adequate health care. They don't have access to Lebanese hospitals unless they pay as private citizens or as foreigners, even foreigner prices. So the prices are extremely high. And of course, as refugees who are not able to work in most of the jobs in Lebanon, they're not legally able to have employment there for the most part. They just don't have the resources to have access to those hospitals. So they depend on their own healthcare system there, run by the Palestine Red Crescent Society and by UNRWA, to have access to treatment that they otherwise can't get. So Safad Hospital is crucial. There's a hospital in central Beirut in Burj Barajna camp called Haifa that serves the Palestinian refugees in the central part of Lebanon. There's a very big hospital in southern Lebanon near Ain Hilwa camp called Al Hamshari, which also serves the refugee population in southern Lebanon. And in the Bekaa Valley, we have Al Nasra Hospital, which serves the Palestinian population in Wawel camp and in the Bekaa Valley. But in North Lebanon, where there are significant clusters of Palestinian refugees, both from 1948 and Palestinians and Syrians who came from the recent conflict in Syria, they don't have adequate health services. The Safad Hospital, as you saw in the video, is not able to deal with both the caseload or with the quality of treatment that's required for the people there. So by providing equipment for the operating theaters and for an intensive care unit, this project will not only save lives, it will not only improve the quality of treatment for the refugee population in the north, but again, it also shows a sense of solidarity and hope for our Palestinian brothers and sisters and all of the refugees in Lebanon, because also Syrians will be benefiting from these services as well, Syrian refugees. It gives them hope and it shows a sense of solidarity. And that often is what people need to get through these difficult times. And we've shown that in Gaza, we've shown that in Rafah in the West Bank, and in Jordan with the refugees, and in Lebanon as well. It's as important now as ever, especially the type of services that this hospital will be providing, the intensive care unit, for example, especially as you know, during COVID, the biggest impact that it has is putting people on ventilators and into ICUs. And if those services aren't available for the Palestinian and Syrian refugee population, which they currently aren't in northern Lebanon, people are going to die unnecessarily. So this project's going to save lives. We know it's a big price tag, but we hope tonight we can reach our goal of 50,000. That will get this project moving. We're going to be raising money as much as we can in the next couple of months And this would be a great kickoff to our holiday campaign, where we're trying to also raise as much money as we can to get this project going and to get this equipment into northern Lebanon and to be able to save lives there and equip the hospital. So I hope you guys will be generous. I'm happy to answer any questions and look forward to some questions tonight. As dedicated as we are to the Palestinian struggle, that struggle doesn't exist just in Palestine. It's wherever there are Palestinians who are denied freedom, denied equality. And in Lebanon, that's part of the Palestinian struggle, is that they don't have equality and they don't have freedom in Lebanon either, even though they are Arab. So we stand with them. This project is to support our Palestinian and Syrian brothers and sisters in the camps there, and to give them the support they need to live better lives. So I hope you'll be generous. Thank you, Nasim, again for your time and for the great work you're doing, not only with PCRF, but with so many organizations. And again, to all of our volunteers in our chapter there, our hardworking San Francisco chapter, Bay Area chapter, thank you guys. You guys have been such a big part of PCRF over the years. And for all of you who've been donating to us through that chapter or through any other mechanism, thank you guys. You make our work possible. We're a grassroots organization. We don't get government money. We're not corporately funded. We're funded by thousands of people all over the world who care about Palestine, who care about this type of work, and who trust and support PCRF. So thank you guys for that, and I look forward to the rest of the evening.
Great. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for sharing that insight. This is a time of year where this community has traditionally come together, and it's really an opportunity, right, for us to take time away from our day-to-day routines and really return to what's most important, right? And this community has such a track record of giving and supporting. I know tonight will be no exception. So we have a chance to join together. This kind of setting in some ways is more like a living room setting. So while on one hand, it's clearly more distant, there's an intimacy to this kind of night, and great things can happen in small forums and big forums, and with small donations and big donations. One thing this community has done over time is just push itself, right? Really push itself to the maximum of its ability, and then some. And that's why it's always so humbling to be in the presence of this community in particular. So I know some of the donations and pledges are already coming in. I'll share the phone number again. You can just text your pledge, just put the amount, and the staff will follow up. The phone number is 330-678-2645. 330-678-2645. And what I would like to do is just share some of the donations that have come in, and really recognize the generosity of the donors and committed donors over time. And so a legend of this community, Nabila Mango, thank you for your generous contribution. Ziad Saba, Nariman Ubaidi, Imad Ibrahim, and Nadia, thank you so much for your donations. Dina Aburas, Johnny Arwad, Maurice, Orla and Dina Juda, thank you for your contribution. Muhammad Shafqat, Hamid Ratikh, so many contributions have been made. I really want to honor you for the donations that you've made, and really celebrate how you've come together. We have Dina Wahbi, a donation of $1,000. Isa Michael, $1,000. Jim and Marianne, $1,000. Rima Al-Kawa, $1,000. Salim, $1,000. David Keenan, $2,500. Omar Rocha, $2,500. Maurice, again, $2,500. Doraid Muslah, $5,000. We are off to a very, very fast start, and I think even more are coming as we speak. What I would like to do is maybe just take advantage of the intimacy of this setting and see if there are any questions that can be answered. We have Steve here and the team, and so we want to make sure that you have all the information you need in order to do the maximum that you're able to support this good cause. So I'll pause to see if there are any questions that you have here. Okay, so I see a question, Steve, from Greg. Will the Safad Hospital project include pediatrics?
Yeah, thank you, Greg. That's a great question. Yeah, of course, the hospital will be an all-encompassing hospital, providing in all aspects pediatric and adult care. The intensive care unit will be mixed, as many intensive care units are. They don't have the resources or the space to have just a pediatric and an adult ICU at this time. But children will be getting the same type of care inside the hospital as adults. The surgical services will include children. And there is a neonatal department already. So yeah, there will be pediatrics as well as adult care in that hospital.
Great. And anyone feel free to come off mute and ask any questions. You don't just have to do it through the chat window. Okay, we have another pledge. Ahmed Armouri has pledged $10,000. Thank you, Ahmed, for this very generous donation. We are now already at $38,000, and this is quite amazing. I have a feeling we're going to be able to get to our goal if we just keep pushing ourselves a little bit more. When we do this in person, you know, I sort of have the luxury pretty much of like locking the doors and not allowing everybody to leave until we get the job done. And now you can just leave with a click away. So I feel very much at a disadvantage, but I'm comforted by the generosity of this community. So I'm very confident we'll be able to reach our goal tonight.
Nassim, can I jump in here real quick? I'm just going to say a little bit about the process by which we are purchasing this equipment. I know your donations are important, obviously, to us, and you want us to manage them 100% in the most efficient and transparent manner, and we do. We have a very, I don't want to say complicated, but very intricate procurement procedure. We follow the international standards for procuring medical equipment. In this case, in Lebanon, what we do is we issue a call for bids, and then we get sealed envelopes from medical supply companies. Once they see the specifications of the equipment that we're looking for, and we look for the best equipment available. We don't want to buy cheap stuff from China, no disrespect to China, but in general, we want to buy the best equipment. So we're looking for European American standard equipment. And then based on the specifications that come in and the prices that come in, we have a committee of engineers, of technicians, of physicians who review those offers at those prices, and we select them based on the best quality of equipment for the best price possible, as well as the guarantees for services and future repairs. So, and then we go through the process of, you know, having a contract, and once the equipment's delivered, then you make the payment to the contractor. So we follow the international standards for procurement, as I mentioned. So I want to make sure that you understand we're not going through a third party. We deal directly with the medical supply companies, and we sign contracts with them directly as well.
Thanks for that, Steve. You know, our people deserve the best,
yeah.
Right? We have a proud people who are deserving of the best. And if this level of support would have been offered by somebody else, it would already exist, right? So clearly the responsibility as members of this community, we are all connected as part of this diaspora community. We're one community. So we have that responsibility to look after each other and ensure that the support that we are offering is of the highest quality. And our people expect nothing less, and should expect nothing less. Whether we want equality when it comes to freedom and human rights, or equality when it comes to healthcare and medical services. This is really what it means to be a Palestinian and carry on life in a dignified way, regardless of the challenges that have been thrown our way.
Yeah.
So we continue to exist, we continue to resist, and we consider all acts of empowerment like this to be real acts of resistance.
Agreed. And one point on the pride thing you mentioned, I visited most of the camps in Lebanon myself over the years, from Badawi down to Rashidiyya camp, including Ain Hilwa and Shatila and so on. And I'm always amazed and very much impressed by the level of pride that the refugees there still have for their Palestinian identity. They still have the accents, they still have the cuisine, they still have the flags and the identity as Palestinians. And that always gave me a sense of pride in seeing how they've kept that connection to Palestine, even though many of them have never visited in their life. And that shows you how strong the Palestinian movement is and how strong that connection to Palestine is.
Thanks, Steve. Let's take another look at where we stand. We have people who are giving multiple times, and that is allowed. The rules allow for this. So if you were worried that you couldn't, you actually can. And so of course, our generous friends, supporters, Salim and Rima, have given yet again. And so thank you for that. Ismail and Tala have added $2,500. Thank you for that. Greg is donating $1,000. Thank you for that. Another anonymous donation has just come in. And so that puts us over 50,000. We're now at $50,500. So it is Pacific time 7:11. Okay, we are ahead of schedule. We might become addicted to these online fundraisers because they're so productive, and you all are stepping up in such a big way. Alhamdulillah. So thank you, and we're all very thankful and grateful for what you've contributed, how you've stepped up. And so we don't have to stop. We can continue to overperform against our expectations, but we are so grateful for what you have contributed, and we really thank you from the bottom of our hearts. What I would like to do in the remaining few minutes that we have is offer another treat. So our distinguished singer, Miss Naya, has agreed to share an original composition. As we know, we've had the chance to see her talent blossom over many years. And now, instead of just singing songs written by others, she is a singer and songwriter herself. So Tala, I hope you're ready to share your beautiful voice once again with us and help close out this evening.
Sounds good. Thank you, Amwa Nasim. Yes, I wrote this song. It's called Hand in Hand. It's to highlight the diversity throughout our nation and globally, which should be bringing us together. I've been thinking, I've been wondering what life is. Has it really come to this? Has it really come to this? Hand in hand we hold each other, never letting go. It's not a you, it's not a me, it's not a want, it's not a need, it's about us as a people. Hand in hand we hold each other, never letting go. It's not a want, it's not a need, it's you and me as a whole. No matter your religion, no matter your race, no matter the decisions, no matter the place, No matter your color, your ethnicity, we're all the same inside, we all should agree. There should be no more fighting, why can't we live in peace? Get rid of all the discord, let's live in harmony. If we're Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, Christian or Jew, it shouldn't really matter what past you've gone through. We should all stick together, hand in hand. Thank you.
Yay. Thanks so much, Naya. Such a beautiful, not only a beautiful song, but a beautiful message as well. And I can't wait to see all of the success from your career ahead. And we have full confidence in you and know that even more great things are in store. So thank you so much. So with that, we're going to end on time. So we're at 7:14 and we said this would be a 45-minute process. We want you to come back and trust us for the next time. So once again, thank you all so much. This has been shared through Facebook Live. Share the video. We want to keep going. We exceeded our goal. We are now at $51,000. This is going to make a really big impact, and this community has stepped up once again in such a significant way. Spread the word to other friends, supporters. This is meant to be just a moment in time that we want to build on and persevere, as we always have and as we always will. So with that, thank you to the organization, the staff, the volunteers, all of the donors. We are deeply indebted to all of you. And Sara, thank you for pulling this together. You are a backbone to this organization. Steve, thanks as always for your leadership. We know we can count on you. We have nothing but complete trust and faith in you and the wonderful team that you've built. The last time I will mention the phone number, 330-678-2645. If you want to call, it's extension 101. We prefer you text 330-678-2645. Share the message, spread the love. We love you. Thanks so much. Have a great evening. Good night.
Steve, I have a question about the Ramallah project. How are you first?
Hi, brother Salim. How are you? How are you doing?
Good, good. I saw in the movie, in the video, the construction had started. Last summer, when we were there, it wasn't yet. So can you give us an update, please, on Ramallah's project?
Yeah, sure. So we took over 2 floors of the Bahraini hospital in the Palestine Medical Complex. So when you came, it hadn't started yet, but now the actual infrastructure is more than half done. The actual departments itself should be finished by late summer. We've lost a little bit of time because of COVID. As you can imagine, we've had a couple of shutdowns in Ramallah, but we've continued to work despite those shutdowns. And now we're just going through the tendering process for all of the medical equipment and supplies. So inshallah, by the end of the year, it should be open. And that would be, we'll of course invite everyone to come and be a part of the opening ceremony. It's such a huge project, and we hope that you and Rima can come, as well as everyone who would like to visit and be a part of that. It's going to be a huge, huge accomplishment and a great addition to the Palestinian health system, not just for saving lives, but building sustainability within the Palestinian health system there. So it's moving quite along. It's almost finished, the construction. So I also saw a question that was saying that are kids going to be able to be treated at this hospital in Safad from Palestine? Unfortunately, just to answer that, no kids cannot leave Palestine to go to Lebanon for medical care or for anything else for that matter. So the borders are closed between those 2 countries, even for Palestinians. So that's not going to happen. I also want to just thank our previous chapter president in the Bay Area, Haneen Rafidi, who sent me a text that she also donated $3,000. So that helps quite a bit. I don't
And
know if that was mentioned yet.
the donations just haven't stopped. There's also 10,000 from Ihsan and Mulham, and so we're incredibly grateful for that. I thought I was done. I was already, out of the room, but the messages kept coming in.
You're leaving
So
money on the table, man.
I had to come back. We're at 61,000. I feel like I sort of closed things too early. Like I'm worried we left some on the table here. But of course, this community is just so full of generosity, and we are deeply grateful for that. So as we close this event, please just continue to spread the word. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Naseem. Thanks, you all. God bless you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Hi, Nuha. Hi,